Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151, or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Welcome you all to today's session. First of all, we'll welcome you all on behalf of the IPC, NDI, and then the UNDP to this event. And I will also want to introduce myself as an IPC member representing the Gambia Moral Congress, GMC. But then we have to thank the media for coming, and also to thank the partners, as I said earlier on. The essence of this program is to make sure that the IPC give a press briefing to the media on the activities and the events that have been happening in the IPC with regards to the electoral process. We will call on the IPC co-chair to read the press statement to the media.
In the IPC's quest for political parties, their candidates and supporters to adhere to the highest standards of electioneering and promote violence-free election campaigns in the run-up to the December 4th presidential election, the IPC has committed the leadership of the 18 registered political parties to sign a peace pledge, dubbed the Janjanbureh Peace Accord, which was developed during the third IPC quarterly breakfast meeting on September 25th and revalidated at the fourth IPC quarterly breakfast meeting on October 26th, with technical support from its development partners, especially the UNDP, NDI, RCO, OHCR, that is Office of the High Commissioner on Human Rights, AU, and ECOWAS. The Peace Pledge signing ceremony were officially witnessed by the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC. The IPC is glad to inform all Gambians and other electoral stakeholders that as of today, All the leaders of the 18 registered political parties have now signed the peace pledge, including the President of the Republic, His Excellency Adama Barrow. As soon as the ongoing nomination process is concluded by the IEC and candidates for presidential election emerge, all nominated independent candidates will be requested to subscribe to the peace pledge as well. The IPC was established by political parties as a forum for dialogue and cooperation to promote adherence to its MOU and Code of Conduct, promote national reconciliation, and ensure consensus building amongst political parties on contested political and electoral issues. Since its establishment, the IPC has partnered with relevant stakeholders to conduct and participate in activities to ensure peaceful coexistence amongst political parties as key actors in national political and electoral processes. The IPC, with support from its partners, is currently implementing a series of programs and interventions to promote transparent, credible, and peaceful electoral process before, during, and after the upcoming presidential, legislative, and local government elections. Already, the IPC has inaugurated youth and women branches as part of its efforts to ensure inclusive participation and representation of women and youth at the IPC and party levels. As of recent, the IPC and its partners organized a high-level national stakeholders forum where political leaders in the Gambia committed in the presence of national and international stakeholders to support peaceful and credible elections in the Gambia, with special emphasis on the need to avoid hate speech before, on, and after election day. To enhance IPC's capacity to effectively monitor and enforce the implementation of its MOU and Code of Conduct, the IPC recently received capacity building from NDI, UNDP, and ECOWAS on mediation and communications, and has developed tools such as a Code of Conduct complaint form, toll lines, through which the IPC may receive complaints from any member of the public against the conduct of IPC members, party leaders, and their supporters concerning any breach or breaches of the IPC MOU and Code of Conduct, and the IEC Code of Election Campaign Ethics. In addition, the IPC has established a mediation committee comprising representatives of all 18 political parties in the Gambia, with a mandate to receive complaints on behalf of the IPC and propose measures to reconcile aggrieved members. The IPC, through technical and funding support from NDI and UNDP, will also be running peace messages in the form of jingles on TV and radio in English and 5 Gambian languages, that is Mandinka, Wolof, Fula, Jola, and Sarahule. Peace messages will be aired at the commencement of party campaigns through the election. In addition, the IPC has concluded plans to embark on regional sensitization of Gambians on the provision of the IPC MOU, Code of Conduct, and the Peace Pledge before the commencement of campaigns through support from UNOWAS, UNDP, and NDI. As campaigns are about to commence, the Inter-Party Committee enjoins every political actor in this election to honor the spirit and letter of the Inter-Party Committee's MOU, the IEC's Code of Elections Campaign Ethics, and the Peace Pledge to which party leaders have agreed. Candidates and their supporters in this election are also urged to accept election results that will be announced by the IEC if adjudged to be a free, fair, and credible electoral process. This is a key provision of the Peace Pledge that the parties have signed. The Gambia's presidential election in December 2016 was marked by a political impasse following the incumbents. The Gambia's presidential election in 2016 was marked by a political impasse following the incumbents' rejection of the results. Drawing lessons from the 2016 presidential election, the IPC doubled its efforts this time around to steer political actors away from actions that could heighten tensions or undermine the electoral process going into the December 4, 2021 presidential poll. If any member of the public has a complaint about a political party, presidential candidate, or a supporter violating the IPC or IEC Code of Conduct or the Peace Pledge, they should refer such complaints to the IPC via any of the following channels for action. 1. Call or send an SMS to the IPC via the following line: 21-999-39. File a complaint to the IPC through the IPC's Code of Conduct complaint form, which is available at IPC's office and its social media platforms, that is Twitter and Facebook accounts, to be activated before the commencement of the campaigns. 3. Send a letter to the IPC at its headquarters in Bijilo, addressed to the co-chairs. The IPC therefore calls on candidates and political parties to join hands with the IPC, the IEC, and other relevant stakeholders to safeguard our hard-earned democracy by embracing the progressive options of dialogue, political tolerance, and peace before, during, and after election. Finally, the IPC is of the firm belief that the cohesive existence of the country and the overall national interest should supersede personal or partisan consideration at all times. The December 4th presidential election, therefore, presents another great opportunity for all Gambians and friends of the Gambia to build on the country's democratic gains. Long live IPC the Gambia, and long live the Republic of the Gambia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Co-Chair, for giving that wonderful press statement. We've all had some of the progresses that the IPC have done over the years. From his statement, we have realized that the IPC have inaugurated the WUBIC and the UBIC branch. And also, the purpose of this event is to promote national reconciliation. And then we've also had him saying, after the nomination, the presidential candidate will all subscribe to the Peace Pledge. And then he also made mention that the National Stakeholders Forum was purposely conducted to promote peace within the political actors. And also IPC and IEC Code of Conduct, whenever a presidential candidate or a supporter to any political party violates any of this Code of Conduct, they have the opportunity to lodge a complaint to either the IPC, or there is going to be a checklist that will be disseminated where people can lodge their complaint. So all these are progresses that are done by the IPC. And then also he made mention that there is a peace messaging and jingle that has been developed by the IPC and the partners, which is going to be played during or before the election. And then he also made mention that if any candidates, like I said earlier on, violates any of this code of conduct, there is a free a line that will be given to the public for people to make calls and give their reports on issues that are happening. And then the most important thing is this whole event, or the purpose of IPC, is to make sure that political parties, candidates, tolerate one another in terms of any political activity that is happening in the country, because we've all seen in 2016 what have happened. So in order to avoid such scenario or such situation, the IPC have to take its stance to make sure that we've made all the necessary arrangements to avoid violence during, after, and then before the election. So on that note, we will go on to the question and answer session with the media. We'll allow questions from the media houses, then that will be answered by the co-chair.
Thank you. Yes, the progress is that all parties, as we speak today, have signed the peace pledge. That's what I'm saying. All parties have signed prior to the nomination, because our target was, before the nomination commences, all political party leaders must append their signatures on the peace pledge, and the IPC achieved that.
Thank you very much. I'm deputy reporter. I want to ask this question. You said when the IEC Code of Conduct or the agreement is breached because Republican complaint to the IPC, what action would the IPC take in order to make sure that such problems will be addressed?
Thank you, Murlamin Choi, QTV. What I want to say here is, I think this question keeps coming on, and then the IPC in the first place is not a body that is established to take disciplinary measures, but the IPC have a body that is called the Mediation Committee. So such complaints will be addressed to the Mediation Committee, and the Mediation Committee will take all the necessary steps to establish the realities on the ground, after which they will make a recommendation to the general body of the IPC. And if need for any disciplinary measures, it will be forwarded. The recommendation will be shared with the IEC, who have the powers to discipline anyone who breaches the code of conduct of either the IPC or the IEC.
Yankuba Jallo, for after the signing of the General Peace Accord, we are promised that the other parties, leaders will sign and it will be a public gathering. So I just want to know what changed that situation. Can I ask another question?
Actually, nothing changed the situation, Yankuba, because what happened was at Janjanbureh, we had all the political parties attend the breakfast meeting, but only 5 leaders were there in their capacity as party leaders. After which we had the National Stakeholders Forum on the 26th that raised the number to 12 parties signing, and then we were left with 6. The unfortunate part of it, our target was to get the leaders sign the document prior to the nomination. And the remaining 6, the only way we can get them signed is to follow them up to their respective locations, be it in their offices or their political bureaus, because the intent was to get them append their signatures on the peace plan. So if we have had, if we were going to wait until we have another public gathering, then it means it was going to be today, and the purpose would have been defeated. But the beauty is the 18 political party leaders have signed, and we ensure that anytime they are signing, we capture them on camera. So that's the beauty.
On the border education, that is the General Peace Accord, that intensify and expand border education. And this has been signed by party leaders. So to popularize this amongst people, because most of these mistakes are done not by leaders, maybe by people who are close to them, people they give platforms to speak. So what are the mechanisms we put in place to ensure that this is observed not only by the party leaders, because party leaders sign on behalf of their people. So what mechanisms do we put in place to ensure that this is translated to the members, the party supporters? That is the sensitization aspect.
Thank you. It's like you've just answered what I was going to say. Because if I had followed the statement, I made mention that next we are going into the regional sensitization. And the regional sensitization, we have structured RSTs. We call them the regional sensitization teams. Every political party have a committee in all the regions. So whatever the IPC is doing, if need for us to trickle down to the last person in the country, we move next to the regional teams, share the knowledge with them, and they will also take it up upon themselves now to disseminate the information across the regions. So that is the approach. And the second one is, you may be aware that we have customized the Memorandum of Understanding in which the Code of Conduct is embedded. The target is for that one also to be distributed among all the regional education offices, so that in every senior secondary school across the length and breadth of the country, they will have few copies of the MOU. Students that have reached the voting age will have the opportunity to read and understand what the leaders have agreed amongst themselves. So that's the approach we are taking.
Any questions from the media? Well,
There's the first lady. This is from where?
From Carlson FM. Yes. What is IPC's stance with regards to the recent cases that happened between SR Fund and implement government that is President Adams?
Well, we are just getting that news from you. The IPC have not received any official complaint from anybody, so we cannot just from here say move into action. That's why we've indicated the format of channeling complaints to the IPC. So from hearsay or from the social media, the IPC will not just be seen moving into action.
So let me check. We have another additional question.
Yeah.
On your second format of channeling complaints, that is filling the form, the complaint form that you develop. So, how accessible is this to the public? And then, during your sensitization, do you include this to let people know this? Because, for example, some may not be able to write text messages. Some cannot even save telephone numbers. So now, and then you're going to deal with the public. It's for the public to use. So how accessible is this, and how easy is this? And will you share this with the media, maybe today?
I cannot guarantee that the form will be shared with the media today because we're trying to finalize on it. But the target is to get the forms in all the IEC offices across the country. That's one approach. You've come up with the idea of sharing with the media because once the press conference is finished, we'll have the opportunity to reflect on the comments that are coming from you. So as a co-chair, I cannot determine to say this is what we will do. But I can assure you that we have so many options through which people can lodge their complaints to the IPC. Once we are in the regions, conducting the regional sensitization, we will provide them as much information as possible.
Okay, my name is Adejal from the Trump Investment. One of the channels that you mentioned of channeling complaints is via social media. Now I've seen only WhatsApp and Twitter that you've put in place. Sorry, Facebook and Twitter. So we understand that most of the governments, especially in the local area, in the provinces, are very much active on WhatsApp. Is there any possibility of creating a WhatsApp group to channel your complaints? And again, how active would your Facebook page be in terms of disseminating your information? Thank you.
The creation of a WhatsApp page, we will reflect on it. We're talking about how active the Facebook and Twitter page will be. Once created, it will be as active as any other Facebook or Twitter page, because we will not go into creating a WhatsApp or Twitter, Facebook or Twitter page just for the sake of creating it. We want to create it, and once it is created, it will be very active because we want to get as much information as possible. Give it to him.
Maybe creating a page may be a difficulty, but that number that you shared could be active on WhatsApp, that people can easily send in their voice note to explain the problem in detail. Some do not know how to write. Some may not know what to put for. They may leave out some info, but when you are speaking in voice, you'll be able to speak comfortably at your convenience, and it will be accessible to you people. I think that idea also may help.
Yeah, it's a brilliant suggestion, and as I said earlier on, we are taking note and we will reflect on the possibility of creating a WhatsApp page. And once it is going to be done, you will be informed of it. Again, it's going to be the toll number that we are going to maintain, or we are going to have a separate number. All that will be made known to you because you play a crucial role in information dissemination.
Good morning. I'm Ultra from Paradise TV. You've made mention of political parties signing the peace pledge and saying that independent parties or independent candidates rather will sign after the nomination. Weren't they informed prior to the peace pledge being signed?
Actually, during the National Stakeholders Forum, which was held on the 26th of last month, October, if you were here, you would have noticed that Marisok was in attendance. That tells you that the IPC have extended invitation to all the independent candidates whose contact at the time were known to us. And then it was only Marisok who appeared. Notwithstanding, we cannot bring them on board because we don't know who will qualify as an independent candidate. So that is why we said, upon confirmation by the IEC that XYZ have finally passed the test and they qualify to run for the presidency, we will officially write to them to share with them about the existence of a peace pledge. And then we are targeting, let me just stop at that. We will share with them about the existence of a peace pledge, and we will create a room where their signing ceremony will also be covered by the media houses and a host of other players when it comes to election matters.
Okay, we understand that hate speech most of the times are made during political campaigns. What mechanism will the IPC take in trying to combat or tackling hate speech, especially among supporters of various political parties and party leaders?
Well, the beauty is that if you look at the IPC, the membership is a representation of all the 18 registered political parties. And then we keep emphasizing that for people to take us for who we are, for people to respect us, we must first manifest what we call ourselves and what we encourage people to do. And the only way we can do that, we should be role models in terms of when we take political platforms, what kind of information do we disseminate? If we are attending our own party's political rallies, how are we cautioning those who take the floor to talk to avoid issues of hate speech? So that is something that we will continue advocating for. And again, that's the reason why we said it's important for us to share with the general public on in an event it is happening somewhere else. How do we ensure that the IPC is brought to be informed about it, and what actions can the IPC take to address that issue? I know it's not going to be possible for us to say during the political rallies there will be nothing like hate speech, but we'll try in as much as possible to curtail it rather.
Is there any possibility of getting a more responsive interparty?
Well, it sounds funny when you say it's often seen to be slow in reacting. I cannot remember a situation where an issue was brought to the IPC and it was not addressed. And again, I want to emphasize, the IPC will not be seen into action from hearsay. Everything has to be officially addressed to the IPC. When that is done, you will see the IPC move into action.
Your responsiveness, your efficiency, and then your probably, your functionality, because I believe, you have a greater role to play than probably, I'm sitting, in one cozy place, and waiting for people, to come and heap up, complaints, on your table. So I believe, probably, could we have, another mechanism where, IPC can be active, also, going in, identifying problems, and try to nip them on the bud, before, they develop, and then, try to prevent before, waiting for them, to address them. Thank you.
One thing we have to understand is that there is no institution in this world that will just be moving into action from hearsay. This is an established, institutionalized, and operationalized institution. So everything that have to come before us have to be formal. So we cannot just move into action from hearsay. And I must emphasize that. It's not possible. And I can quote a scenario where I think every media house here can attest to it. There was a UDP voter registration monitoring team. They got into my own constituency, and there was an issue. I think all media houses heard from me, but that was me in my capacity as the sitting MP of the area. IPC moved into action when the formal complaint was sent. Upon receiving the letter, less than 2 days, a meeting was convened, and the issue was handled at the IPC level. So we want to preserve and maintain our integrity. But if we want to be jumping into action from hearsay, we will just be going about, and the next time people will be making fun out of us. And you rightly mentioned that the IPC is a credible institution, and the hopes on us are very high, both nationally and internationally. So we have to watch the way and the steps we take. Yeah, I think if you follow the work we do, that's something that we've been doing. And our partners are here, they can attest to that. We've been doing that, and we will continue doing it, because we want to ensure, a peaceful and stable country, and then that all political parties are tolerant to one another. So that's the concept. We are doing that, and we will continue doing that.
Your final question, sir.
Your final question, that's what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
IPC, your members recommended for you to have state recognition, like for there to be an act of parliament to give you power. Is this possible before the end of this legislative term in April next year? Is this possible? Can Gambia see? Because like the work that the IPC is doing, personally I've covered almost all your programs, and I know what you're doing. And then giving you state support, like legal backing, will give you more powers to do what you want to do. So I don't know, is this possible? Are you pushing this hard?
It is quite possible. And this is a dream that the co-chair had. We shared with the entire membership of the IPC. We reflected on it. And then we were trying to see how the IPC can become a statutory body where it will be subjected to subvention from the central government. But again, after a critical analysis of the situation, as we are today, we are 100% independent. If the IPC should become a statutory body, subjected to be subvented by the government, like the old adage goes, you will watch where I want you to watch. And then again, you don't know the coming government, how influential they will be when it comes to the operations of the IPC. So we want to avoid a scenario where the government will have control over the IPC. We have seen some established bodies like the National Council for Civic Education. You, the media, have been following some of the complaints, and it's an act of parliament that established the National Council for Civic Education. But are they 100% independent? They are not. They are now even trying to come up with a bill that will give them their 100% independence. So the IPC will also carefully follow the bill that the NCCE is about to bring to the National Assembly. And based on that, we will look at it and see whether it can be replicated to the IPC, because we want to ensure the 100% independence. What you're trying to signal is about the sustainability aspect, because right now our operations are all donor funded, and there's no guarantee that the donors will continue funding the activities of the IPC. There's no guarantee. So, but we have to be very careful in how we go about ensuring that the IPC becomes a statutory body. We must try to make sure that once it is going to be a statutory body, it must be a body that is fully independent, despite being subjected to subvention from the central government. But whether it can be before the end of this 5th legislature, I'm not too sure.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan, Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek. Loo lañ soxlaati rek. Maanaam bu dee am problème ci seen skin, yéen xam ngeen fan la. Fii ngeen di ñëw. Suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon, xam nga doon xeesal bel la ka xum. Éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw Skincare Plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon ne dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen ne lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skincare products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit benn tey tamit si ay dàlla man waaye man nag skin care mooy sama specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner Kiwi Eye the whole range Lighten Up Gold Tomatine I mean the list can just go on and on and on and on lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox Skin Care Plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu nga United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes fragrances men's shirts accessories we do dresses as well we do blouses I mean we do shoes name it we do them Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection zero task fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task kenn waratu fi am problème kanam kenn waratu fi am problème yi picca boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii
love like fire bring my yobogumba fire love like fire
Agada.
Mbijan aganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyenje.
Okay. What's
Nsila ID soto. Ha, sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya.
Ah,
mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbare ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato
bari si kodo kino kato nim fo bolong labe
56 branches mola soto Gambia ja
ha
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol nka kodo kiya bele kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw jannom number 1 ti nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dir fana beteat Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelenta
baraka ba ya lafta nyelan kendol e bina
yalo bu kanila ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel ciosano lo
baraka
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.